Final build-up to the big day, we are joined by Chief Electoral Officer Mosotho Moepya. Very welcome to the show.
It's good to be with you and good morning to you.
I'm very glad that you made it. We have finally reached the final week. Tell us about the build-up and the big question. Are we ready?
We are ready indeed. This has been work that we have prepared for, in the last 18 months or so. A lot of detail has been put into it, and we are very proud of the product that we have put out there. We look forward to a very good election, as you may have seen yesterday when South Africans outside of the Republic were voting. Everything is ready for voting day.
Yes, on that note with the South Africans, how did the voting go about the world?
It went well indeed. Indications are that it has gone much better than we have done in the past. We have seen and heard reports of South Africans indeed coming to visit their voting stations abroad. We have, the information I have is that we have recorded over 6,700 votes in London alone. And I think that is a relatively good turnout.
Now, what about the reports of people saying that there was a miscommunication with voting forms? Was that cleared up? What happened there?
I think there has been extensive communication that has gone into this process. But when you're communicating to, a large country and, the forms of media that are available to them and all other platforms, radio and so on and so forth, are issues that are very unique to that country, there will be this kind of glitches. I think no blame to be apportioned in this respect. We will be learning lessons from this process, and we should do better next time. The point I wish to make is that we have, as far as was possible, tried to even get in touch with the individual voter, and I think that is an extensive step to take for an institution such as ourselves.
Now, next up we have the special votes. So when will those be taking place, and how do you qualify for a special vote?
Special vote applications closed on the 17th of April. And applications that we have received were just under 400,000, 300,000 of which are going to be home visits, and the other 100,000 persons that will be coming to our voting stations to either vote on the 5th or the 6th of May. That process is well underway as well.
Political parties will also, over this coming weekend, round off their final campaigning, and we've seen tensions and we've seen some unrest in some communities. How has the IEC handled all of this up until now, and how will it ensure security next week as well?
We have put a multi-pronged process to deal with that situation. We have party liaison committees that convene in those communities to seek solutions to any challenges that may relate to voting. We also have working relationships through conflict management panelists that consist of people in good standing in those communities who help us to deal with this potential conflict. But importantly, we also work with the Justice, Crime Prevention and Security cluster in this nation, and they've also been helping us greatly. Community leaders we are working with, we are talking to, and we hope through all of these platforms we should find a solution to the problems.
Now, how many incidents of political intolerance did you guys deal with, and are you expecting anything next week?
We don't actually have enormous amounts of challenges. Of course, campaigning, it's robust out there. We do get parties raising issues with us, and perhaps, in some instances, cases are reported as they should where a crime has been committed. But in incidents where, parties or communities have come to us to deal with problems, there have been very few of those, and we have dealt with them successfully.
Now tell us, once you've voted, the process after that, just let our viewers know how things will be working from now on, from next week, Wednesday.
Well, all of our stations, 22,263 of them in the country, will open at 7 in the morning and close at 9 at night. Once voting is completed, and voting is completed when the last person in the queue at 9 is allowed to vote. Once that has happened, that voting station turns into a counting station, and we count until an outcome from that station is determined. We fill in a result slip, party agents sign alongside their party vote, and we take a copy of that result slip seal it into a tamper-proof, transparent envelope, get 2 members of the security police to accompany our presiding or counting officer to a place where this will be captured on the systems. At that point, where the results are going to be captured, there are party agents, there are auditors whom we have retained for this purpose, and in this instance, PricewaterhouseCoopers are the auditors that we have. They will be auditing the results as they are captured, and we will have a live streaming of those results from that point to the results center, and the whole world will know about it.
I understand you had the rock launch yesterday.
We did.
Can you tell us a bit more? How was it? What is the energy like?
The rock, it's really synonymous with the transparency of our elections, where all of the role players in an election come together to share information on the developments taking place as elections unfold. This year's rock, it's particularly important and very different from the rocks that we have in the past. You know the role social media is playing at the moment. And we are aware that there will be lots of inputs coming from information we provide to media houses to information that will be coming back into the rock.
Then just lastly, to wrap up, your message to voters and the public who will go into the polls next week.
I want to say to South Africans that, elections 2014 are a very special kind of an election. 20 years of our democracy. I want to tell them that colleagues and us, everyone in this nation has worked very hard to ensure that we have a very good election. This is an election we would want to have every South African proud of. Everyone that is registered must indeed come and vote in this election.
Now there you have it, and that was the IEC's Mosotho Moepya joining us to tell us a bit more about the last and the final build-up to the elections next week. Thank you so much for joining us on the show this morning.